Отправляясь далеко, там, где небо высоко, босиком идет. Только в зеркало души на небо покажи, ты оттуда вез. Дождь мой пепел, я в витринах, в мыслях о тебе. Разбегаясь по долинам, вновь в моей судьбе.
Neighbors. When the war broke out, what caused this, it was impossible to remember for even the long-living people. But everyone knew that not only one the generation of Isakovs and Kosiks couldn't share something. They have different faces, grandfather Basmach claimed, nicknamed so for his shaggy head, which he didn't take off even in the summer. No, what faith? Neither the Bible nor the Koran was kept in their hands. And as they are dissatisfied with anything, so all the gods vilified from them. No, not only on a religious basis, but on a national basis. This may well lead to clashes, the local teacher Ivan Makarovich authoritatively stated. Well, you said, Makarovich, what is a national basis? They have great-grandmothers, and they were dearer than them. These guys have so much genius in the blood mixed in, objected Basmach. I think that politics is involved here. Maybe they are in different parties, and for this they can kill each other. Makarovich burst out laughing. Well, you tell me, Grandpa, how much I am in the election commission. The only true version is the harmfulness and lack of tolerance. Grandpa wondered what tolerance was. He didn't know, but he didn't show it. He thought maybe someone who had once stolen this obscure object, but didn't admit it, that's what they are sorting out. True, it didn't come to a fight. A local policeman warned about the consequences, so each neighbor dispensed with petty, dirty tricks and remarks. Either the rooster doesn't allow her to sleep, the dog barks, or the cow looked impudently, just like a fence with holes to see what the enemy is doing. Some made these holes in the fence, others plugged them. But there was a very large territory which was unfenced. Every spring a land engineer came and drew the border with red flags in accordance with the land plan. But this procedure didn't suit the neighbors, no matter whose side invited engineer. Anyway, after his departure, the redistribution of property began. At night, the flags migrated several times. Many didn't understand the fundamental importance of 2 centimeters in one direction or another, but for Isakov and Kosych there was significance. Land engineer is corrupt, both neighbors were assured. They came to this conclusion by measuring the area in steps and shooting with an eye at the orientated fence of the neighbor opposite. Of course, you could believe it if one of them didn't squint and the other didn't limp, the consequences of the first battles. Hey, take your apples, we don't need a stranger's seeings. Kosych yells, throwing apples to the neighbors falling from their tree in his yard. The apples were crashing during the flight, and Nikolai felt that he was morally satisfied, and he calmly left for the house. In retaliation, a plum branch stretching into the courtyard towards the Isakovs was cut down. Then Kosych dug a moat along the Isakovs' garden, built two machine guns from a tree, set up an even post with the inscription, "Border, the enemy will not pass." Being in a good mood, Nikolai Kosych went out onto the porch, stretched out and yelled so that the rooster lost his voice. He saw, as he was opposite the machine guns, as before the shooting. His wife Nastya appeared at his cry. She sank everything. "This is where my husband's old shot, which served as a floor rack, got off." The shot showed off a scarecrow, reminding the neighbor. "I will kill this sculptor." Kosych couldn't calm down. But he didn't cross the territory because he was not sure what did this Kadir had planned and what the inscriptions beside the scarecrow meant. Achtung, Mainz. From year to year, hostilities were more sophisticated. "Well, nothing. He will get nasty things from me." Nikolai was planning revenge, but then there was a sudden destruction of all his plans. "Kadir is dead," his wife said. "How did he die?" Nikolai was taken aback. "Why?" "Not young, we are all. Time is running out." Nikolai didn't go to the funeral. He decided he had nothing to do there. He became thoughtful, quiet. "Kolya, didn't you get sick?" worried Nastya. "You don't look like yourself." "No, Nastya, I somehow lost interest." "I don't know." How many times did she seek out from Nikolai what was the reason for this war? "And how much do I know?" her husband answered. "As far as I remember myself, they always fought, and grandfather threw apples themselves, and my father hated them, and they seemed not to remember. So it happened to us. You don't know what the Isakovs did." "Why not make peace?" Nastya prompted. "You, Nastya, don't meddle in our affairs. Never. It doesn't concern you. Herr Yura will return from the city. He continue our work." Nikolai determined the fate of his son's student. "I don't need him. He doesn't graze sheep, but he grazed himself in the cemetery. Look, he can stay there." Nastya, having left everything, ran to the cemetery. She saw the lonely figure of her husband. He was sitting on a bench in front of the neighbor's grave and talking with him, or rather with his photo. Nastya's heart sank. Well, what prevented them from communication normally during life? Who needed this senseless war, started 100 years ago? She quietly went down the hill so as not to embarrass her husband. Nikolai soon died too. He fell asleep and didn't wake up. The tomb of Nikolai near Kadir was taken away. Now the photos of the enemies were looking at each other. Isakov's son sold the house and took his mother to him, and soon Nastya moved closer to her son. She visited her husband's grave, and sometimes his neighbor's grave. Once she came to visit the grave and met Grandpa Basmach. "Look, Nastya, they fought among themselves all their lives. and now everyone is looking at each other, and it seems they were reconciled in that life. Why do you think so? Asked Nastya. Nobody planted it, but so what a bush of daisies grew on their graves. White flower is an armistice symbol. Would you only know what they shared all their life? A light warm breeze blew, and daisies in agreement agreed, nodded with snow-white heads. They didn't know what they themselves understood, and could hardly say. It was like this. Once the neighbors argued about the weather. One man said that tomorrow it will be cold and rainy. Another said it will be dry and warm. As a result, the day fell warm but rainy, and served as the beginning of a protracted war.